6 motives why tech organizations are shedding so many personnel. Mass layoffs from tech behemoths had been making headlines for the reason that the second one half of 2022, and it seems as though the more severe is a ways from over. After Elon Musk slashed nearly half of Twitter's global body of workers, Meta and Amazon observed fit with job cuts that noticed lots unemployed simply earlier than the vacations. The tech industry is infamous for ruthlessly firing employees. This today's spherical of layoffs brings again memories of the dot-com era, which left lots without jobs. Why were many tech employees fired currently? Right here are 6 motives. 1. Monetary uncertainty. Layoffs are organizations' emergency method while call for its services and products dwindles. Regrettably, employees are most of the first to head whilst you need to cut charges. In About Amazon, Dave Limp, Senior Vice Chairman of Devices and Services, referred to an unusual and unsure macroeconomic environment that led to its choice to lose gifted Amazonians. The New York Times reports that Amazon has for the reason that pared again its personnel to almost 80,000 from April to September, with hundreds more predicted to be laid off in the coming days. Debates about whether or not the U.S. is in a recession escalated after facts from the U.S. Bureau of Financial Analysis in July 2022 confirmed a shrinking economy for the second one immediately zone. You can't hopefully say that the destiny seems rosy. The Worldwide Financial Fund, IMF, states that economic situations cling in a balance, relying on the course of the war in Ukraine, economic policy, and the pandemic. You could finish that layoffs are employers' matter to live on uncertain instances. 2. Decrease in e-trade hobby. The pandemic drove many agencies online as they adapted to lockdowns. You would possibly recall staying domestic all day on your pajamas whilst carrying tops greater suitable for the workplace on your Zoom meetings. Online buying, Netflix, and far-off paintings have become the brand new manner of existence. You might have idea it'd stay this manner forever, with tech firms hiring left and proper for IT roles. A few tech firms embraced online paintings, with some high-rated agencies on Glassdoor supplying fully remote or hybrid work. But now not all and sundry became keen for the metaverse to occur so abruptly. Some agencies demanded that employees troop again to their booths full-time, and recommendations for a successful return to the workplace proliferated at the internet. Clients emerged from lockdowns as well, and online spending decreased. An IMF weblog submit mentioned studies from the IMF, credit card, and Harvard business faculty displaying that e-trade activity is at or under pre-COVID-19 trend ranges in the United States and other advanced economies. The mass tech layoffs are partly the end result of the sector returning to pre-pandemic normalcy. Businesses may have employed swiftly for the duration of the pandemic, however they have no use for those employees now. An IMF weblog submit mentioned studies from the IMF, credit card, and Harvard business faculty displaying that e-trade activity is at or under pre-COVID-19 trend ranges in the United States and other advanced economies. The mass tech layoffs are partly the end result of the sector returning to pre-pandemic normalcy. Businesses may have employed swiftly for the duration of the pandemic, however they have no use for those employees now. 3. Stress from investors. Layoff threats emerge as greater actual as buyers push for process cuts to lessen prices. After a tech boom in 2021, project capitalists have grown to be involved that businesses will be much less worthwhile this year. A few businesses going through stress from traders are Alphabet, Google's figure organization, and Meta. CNBC reviews that an investor from TCI Fund Control, one in all Alphabet's shareholders, known as on the business enterprise to take competitive action and reduce headcount. In line with MarketWatch, Alphabet plans to put off approximately 10,000 bad-performing personnel. In the meantime, Altimeter Capital CEO, Brad Gerstner, made similar calls to Meta. In an open letter to Mark Zuckerberg written on October 24, 2022, the Meta shareholder criticized the enterprise for drifting into the land of excess, citing hard-hitting stats. Gerstner emphasized the need for Meta to get its mojo again, lessen personnel, and reduce charges. It looks as if the letter labored. On November 9, Meta published Zuckerberg's choice to let go of 11,000 personnel. 4. Declining revenue. In case you're following the Twitter saga, you would possibly have caught Musk's November 4 tweet blaming activists for Twitter's big drop in sales. His rant got here an afternoon after he laid off heaps of employees following a $4 billion acquisition. However, Lou Pascalis, who serves at the advisory council on Twitter, tweeted an explanation on the identical thread. He replied that advertisers have been concerned about logo safety or suitability after Musk fired 75% of its moderation team, regardless of why sales went down. Reuters says that Twitter is in hassle with a large billion debt. Clear skies seem some distance off for the blue fell as talks of greater layoffs make the rounds. And with employees resigning after Elon Musk driven for extraordinarily hardcore Twitter in a midnight email, as Commercial Enterprise Insider stated, we are no longer surprised if users are looking for Twitter alternatives well worth thinking about. 5. Signs of a mature industry. Are tech layoffs simply a part of an organization's herbal boom? Yelining on Channel News Asia seems to suppose so. An industry matures or becomes greater stable after its preliminary growth stages. At this point, it is simplest natural for a tech organization now not to have new customers. It might remember diversifying its products or expanding to different countries. However, whilst those strategies fail, it has no desire but to lay off people. 6. Ingrained mentality that layoffs increase profitability. Container categorized brain overlaying character's head at the same time as a hand drops the phrase. Experts at know-how at Wharton point to an ingrained mentality in maximum businesses that equate layoffs with profitability regardless of monetary situations. The reasons above help this. In an unsure economy, layoffs are the purported therapy. But despite the fact that the economy is doing properly, groups nevertheless use layoffs as an excuse to improve profits. At the same time as there seems to be no evidence that layoffs work, it has emerged as the fast term move to method. Unluckily, personnel must take the autumn. You could live productive if you're one of these impacted by way of this layoff tradition. Keep in mind taking day without work or upskilling. Plan and arrange your next steps before you practice on your subsequent agency.